see down here. But um, so I had this shirt on all day, just minding my Black History Month business. And as I moved throughout the city doing, grocery shopping here and there, white people looked at me like I had some kind of nerve to have on this shirt. I mean, they had all kinds of funny looks on their faces, all kinds of disdainful appearances on their countenances, and a couple of them even had the audacity to question me. But they were nice questions, like, "Well, what do you mean? What does that mean?" And then I was just trying to read the show. Oh wait, DJ, cut the music. Let me say that this is the Life Malcolm Show on In Touch News. I got to get better at this part. I'm gonna do that. So listen, if you're tuned in, you are tuned in to www.intouchnews.com, or you are tuned in to Facebook. And I'm gonna hook up a watch party pretty soon, so y'all can get at me on my Facebook watch party joint. Join me there. Are you hooked up on the YouTube? Whatever it is, but you know where to be if you're tuned in and listening. But here's this thing right here, man. I want you to do. Call 813-444-9588. I want you to call. Listen, tonight we're talking about sex. Everybody likes sex, right? Well, DJ cut the music. I don't know. Maybe everybody don't like sex, but I know a lot of people who like sex. And so maybe we could talk about it. I know a few things about it. I've done it before, and we, I might be able to help you do it better. If you call in and just we'll work it out. Well, listen, I ain't mean like no hands-on tutoring or anything like that. I meant like if you call in, I can give you some advice over the phone. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I see how that could be misconstrued. I get it, construed. Yeah, but yeah, 813-444-9588. Tonight we're gonna talk about sex, and yes, we do have a word from the word, because you know what's in the Bible? A whole lot. Sex. There's a lot of sex in the Bible, and yeah, whatever version, all the versions I've read, and I've read several, all of them got a lot of sex in it. So we're gonna have a word from the word. We're talking about sex. But before we get to that, want to finish saying these few things about Black History Month. Um, so yeah, the white people uh looking at me like I had some nerve having this shirt on, and my response reaction to that is they have some nerve. Cause I mean, my shirt says they ain't teach us about me being their Sada Shakur right here, super duper sister, super strong African. They don't want us popping cops when we get stopped. And I guess maybe that's an alarming message for colonizers who don't mind us getting popped when we get stopped. And have colonizers who have some problem with Africans who are strong enough to resist when face to face with this life or death situation that often emerges when it's colonizer against the colonized. And so yeah. So they had these looks on their faces and whatnot. And I'm listen, brother African, sister African, comrades. In my mind, all I could think was, y'all always throwing African killers in my face, African catchers in my face, African slave owners in my all the time. George Washington. They used to say, you might have heard me say it on this program before, but they say that George Washington had, he didn't have all his teeth. Apparently, he wasn't a healthy guy, so he didn't have all his teeth, but he had teeth made out of wood. That's what they would tell us. But doing some deeper digging into some historic works, come to find out that some of George Washington's teeth were teeth that he knocked out of the mouths of African people. They didn't wait till they died. He got them while they were still fresh, knocked them out their mouth and used them for his teeth. Just George Washington, and he on your dollar, in your pocket, on your quarter. You know, all of us can't have dollars in our pockets, but many of us have quarters. You know, quarters. He owned a quarter. His name is plastered all over the country. They got monuments named after. As a matter of fact, they got states, something like a state. They got something like a state and a state named after this guy who was a slave owner and a take your teeth out your head because I don't have no teeth in mine type of white man. You know, this is what he would do. You know, we got Thomas Jefferson. I can't remember. He on something. Maybe the $2 bill. But his name is everywhere. I think he on a nickel. But this guy, Thomas Jefferson, you know, is known for raping a young black girl named Sally Hemings. Right? They if you look at the white people history books, they say that they had an affair, and that Sally Hemings was Thomas Jefferson's mistress. But how the hell can a slave girl be a mistress? Like she has some kind of choice in the situation. Like she can say, no, not tonight, I have a headache, or something like that, right? As Chairman O'Malley would say oftentimes. So, no, it wasn't no mistress. This guy, Thomas Jefferson, over and over and over again did horrible things to this woman. I mean, not woman, young girl. Young woman. I think that's fair. Young woman. I think it's fair to call her a young woman. But over and over did this thing to her against her will. And they celebrate this guy. His high school's named after him. We got one in this city. Yeah. So, or even if the high school ain't named after him, the high school is named after somebody who was named after him. So, yeah. And you know, one of the worst, that guy, Columbus. Yeah. That guy who him and his crew used to ride Indians, so-called Indians, that's not, but the indigenous people to this land, the so-called Indians, what you call Indians, used to ride them down the street like horses. Yeah, didn't have no car, horse tired. Give me the Indian. That's what they give me. Yeah, and ride them down the street, and killed them so that most of the indigenous population was dead by the time Columbus was done. And we have this thing called the Columbus Day, and so yeah, I know for sure there's a school named after this guy Robert E. Lee that burned down, but they still have the school. They changed the name. Go Tammy Schamberger. Changed the name, but the structure looks like even after it burned down. The name went away around the same time, right? But now they have a structure. It's a beautiful colonial looking structure. Look just like something you would see in 1820 something slave master movie. I'm telling you, I live right down the street from it, walk by it all the time. And even though the structure no longer bears its name, the fact that it bared Robert E. Lee's name for so long makes the presence of the structure and its colonial characteristics just as disgusting as if his name was still on the thing. And so, yeah, I have a hard time finding myself sympathetic to white people who don't like me wearing a shirt that shows off one of my heroes and mentions her awesome, courageous act of heroism. And so, yeah, when they're looking at me like it's something wrong with me, I'm looking at them like it's something wrong with them. And we maybe one day we'll get some resolve if we have dialogue. Only time will tell. I'm going to talk about Assata a little bit when we get back, and then we're going to talk about sex. So, yeah, get your phone, get your chat thing ready so we can type and, get your comments, and we'll be back in a couple of clicks of the clock right here on the Life Malcolm Show, In Touch News.
Trap Talk, Just Talk with Madam CJ. Right here on In Touch Radio. Every Thursday at 7 p.m.
Talk to me, baby.
Trap Talk, y'all. On In Touch Radio.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
All right. Welcome back to the Life Malcolm Show right here on In Touch News, where everybody is a star. And you are the biggest star, especially if you pick up the phone and call. Man, I be feeling like I be begging for y'all to call and talk to me, And since this is Love Month, let's use a song. I think it's a TLC. They say they weren't too proud to beg, but I ain't TLC. I just I do it because the thing I'm supposed to, like the teleprompter say, tell them to call. But look, man, listen. If you don't want to holler at your boy, it's all right. One day you will wish that you could talk to me. I'd be like, no, remember when I was on the Life Malcolm Show every Tuesday night, and I say call and you ain't call. That's how I'm gonna be like that, man. I hold grudges. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, but anyway. Back to Assata. So, I'm not gonna tell you her history. We don't have time for that tonight. That's for another program. Matter of fact, we might break that down for Women's History Month, which is next month. And oh man, I got some superb guests coming through for Women's History Month next month. So, man, we'll chop up, what Assata meant. What Assata means to us in history. But let me say this right now, Assata, because she had the courage and the intelligence to stand up for herself and resist colonial violence, finds herself now forced into exile, hanging out in somewhere down south. Some people say Cuba, but somewhere down south. But the American government, the United States government, has a bounty on her head. Now, Assata did this work in the 60s. almost 60 years ago. And the United States government still has a bounty on her head to this day. Yeah, $2 million. And that just shows you how intent the United States colonial government, colonial structure is on making sure that African people do not rise up and resist. To that point, I want to say, I know some of y'all don't like this guy I'm about to bring up. Some of y'all won't even call him by name. Y'all call him the 45 and some stuff like that. But Donald John Trump, I ain't gonna lie, man. You know, I like the guy. Well, for history's sake, I like what he did to the United States government. He upset the United States government. You hear me? They just had a second impeachment ceremony. That's all it was. It wasn't really no, it was all it was, just some pomp and circumstance. But he put these people in a pickle. And I enjoyed every minute of his 4 years in office while he was dismantling this colonial structure from the inside out. And to add insult to injury, before he got out of office, the presidential office, this Donald John Trump started pardoning people. He pardoned that Kodak Black. He pardoned Lil Wayne. I think they say Lil Wayne got a little something out the deal. But one of my favorite pardons, though, is Donald John Trump pardoned Kwame Kilpatrick up out of Detroit. Yeah, the Michigan. He was, he was like the mayor or something like that, man. Kwame Kilpatrick was looking at some time. He had some time on his hands. Donald John Trump, as one last snub of his nose to the American government, the United States government, then pardoned Kwame Kilpatrick. And I mean, like him or not, I don't care. But how you gonna hate that? You know what I mean? But I gotta tell you, even that ain't enough. So if Joe, what's his boy name? Joseph Robin Biden, something like that. Just he got some old funny middle name start with an R. This guy, I think one time he said something like, if you don't vote for him or something like you're not black or something like that. Well, a lot of y'all voted for him, so I guess you're black. But let's see what we can get out of this guy, Joseph Ribbenau Biden, whatever name is. Somebody look up the middle name and put in the comment. But let's see if we can get him to get this bounty off of Assata Shakur. How about that? And while he at it, let's see if we can get him to free Mumia Abu-Jamal. Mumia been in prison almost 60 years. You understand? And free all political prisoners. I can't name them all, but free all political prisoners. And I'm going to tell you, every African in prison is a political prisoner. Whether they were involved in political work at the time, the action of the state against the African in this country ain't nothing but a political move. So, I just wanted to say that. So, Trump, look, man, come on, man. He got Kwame Kilpatrick out, so, all right. All right, so we finna change gears now. It's an abrupt shift. Go from freeing Mumia, talking about sex. I don't know, no segue for that. We just have to jump right into it. So let's talk about it. I tell you what, we're gonna free the sex talk. That's the segue right there. Free Mumia, free the sex talk. So we're gonna talk freely. I'm gonna tell you right away that I am not answering any personal questions this evening, and not because I can't per se. I can, however, as you know, I have recently committed myself to nuptials. And so I have not gotten permission to speak about my personal life tonight, that part of my personal life tonight, in the show. And so since I have not, do not have permission, I am not about to mess up my happy home to answer a question you probably already know the answer to. So but I will do my best to answer any question you have based on my personal experience. Can I get a witness? All right. So, yeah. Okay. All right. So one of the first things. So I'm not answering. Now, to say that I'm not answering any questions is not to say I'm not going to talk a little bit about my personal life when it comes to sex. Let me tell you. So, oh man, if my children are listening, please, this is the time for you to turn the stop listening. At about 6:55, you can come back and look at the show. But if my children are watching the show, it's time for you. This is the time for you to take a break. Thank you very much. All right. So, so me, man, I started liking girls when I was 3 years old. As a matter of fact, right now, you can go to my Facebook. I think you can go to my Facebook page and see a photograph. And it says, my first picture. And it's one of them old pictures. You could tell because the color, it's supposed to be a color picture, but the only colors are brown and tan. You remember them old pictures like brown, tan, and dirty red? So it's one of those old pictures. And it says my first picture, which means the first picture I ever snapped before. And it was a picture of some African sisters' rear ends. I'm 3 years old with the camera, 1978 or something, and woo! I knew that loveliness needed to be captured in picture, and so I did that at 3. Right, it's my life. At 5 years old, there was this young girl. Oh, she was 5 too, and we went to the same church together, and so. Every Sunday we started dating at the water fountain at church. We right around offering time after you walk around the table, me and I don't know. Should I say names? Okay. All right. My producer said don't say names, so I don't want to get us in no trouble. So, but I would just say that her name sound like Shayla. It sounded like that. And we would meet at the water fountain every Sunday and kiss. Oh, man, I was so in love. And my father at the time had given me a gold ring with my initial on it, and I'm pretty sure it was real gold. My father was a hustler. He getting that hot jewelry out the street. And so I had this gold ring, and I gave it to my sweetheart. And she took it home to her mama, and her mama promptly returned the gold ring and say, he is too young for this kind of activity. And so but that didn't stop us. We were 5, and we dated at the water fountain until we were 10. For 5 years, we was going strong. And then this pretty young thing came to the church. It sounded like Toy. That's the name. It sounded like Toy. And Toy came to the church with that red Jerry curl. And so now by this time, so yeah, like I said, I'm 10. And but Toy was like 12, 13, so she was, starting to develop, and I liked her development. She was doing well for herself, and so Shayla and I were at the water fountain on one side of the church, and I said, "Hey, I'll be right back." So I went on the other side of the church. This is right after choir rehearsal. And I said, "Toy, will you be my girlfriend?" And she said, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, bet." And I ran right back to the water fountain and told Shayla it was over. After 5 years of Sunday dating at the water fountain, it's over. And yes, when I was young, so like, I've loved women since I was a young man, and so as I got older, it wasn't always women, connecting with women. It wasn't always as easy as just running from one side of the church to the other and saying, "Hey, will you be my girlfriend?" No, this thing got tricky, especially when I got to high school. And I'll tell you about this story that not only crushed me. I'll tell you the story about this thing that not only crushed me, but also constructed me into the man you see today. So hold on, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Life Malcolm Show, In Touch News, y'all. Call us up, man, if you got some questions. If you just want to talk about your sex life, you can tell everything you want to tell. I listen.
Smoothing out your favorite R&B flavors.
What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor.
In Touch Radio.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers on the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, briskets, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
All right. Okay, so now I got to tell you the story about the crash and burn. So I was 14 years old, going into my sophomore year in school. This is the summer. So I had I don't remember if I had like a summer job or not, but I had money. You might recall that I used to preach in church, and so doing that thing, preaching in church, kept money in my pocket. I wasn't never short on the dollars, at least for a 13-year-old, 14-year-old. So over the summer, I went to, I can't remember the name of the store right now, but I remember the brand of the outfit. I got me my Cassie Crest. Y'all remember that? Cassie Crest. That was I don't know why it was so popular, because looking back, it wasn't that dope, but whatever, it was the thing at the time. As a matter of fact, you know what? I don't even know if it was a thing for us. I think it was a thing for the Columbus people, the colonizers that I went to school with. Like, that was their thing or something. So I think that's why I thought it was cool, because they had that kind of stuff, and they happened to have it in the University Mall, the Negro Mall. So I got me some Cassie Crest. I remember the fit I was wearing. So, but anyway, let me tell you. When I was a little younger, like 11, 12, 13, something like that, I was involved in something like a Upward Bound, or certainly involved in the McKnight Achievers. I can't remember where I ran across this little girl, light skinned too. I used to think light skinned girls were cute sometimes. And this this little light skinned girl, she was developed. You know, she had developed, and so yeah, you know, but you know, so I liked it in, but I don't know. I was dating at the water fountain and maybe dating toy. I don't know what was going on. And so anyway, so I couldn't really get at her. Couldn't really get at her. But then, oh wait, DJ, cut the music. Y'all want to hear about my first heartbreak? If you want to hear about my first heartbreak, you got to call and I'll tell you the story. But since I'm already on this story right here, I skipped my first heartbreak. But first heartbreak, you know, it changed my life. But this right here really, really changed my life. So, 14 years old, and somehow I got the phone number. You know, keep in mind now, we talking 14, so this 1989. This where the phone still had a cord, and you know it's shaped like a phone, not like this thing that we have here. This thing, you know, it sit on top and all that, you know, that stuff. So, me and this young lady, her name, it sounded like Jamelia. So me and Jamelia talking on the phone all the time, or like every day over the summer. Like, so I hadn't seen her in like 2 years or something. But now, you know, I'm a little older and she a little older, and I can only imagine how well developed she must be now. And so, you know, we got each other's phone number and we talking back and forth. And so we start going together over the phone. And, you know, I ain't realized that going together really means something different than just you go to, like you say you go together. Then going together means you go and then get together. That's what going together mean. They go together. That's what them old people saying. But anyway, yeah, so we started going together over the phone. And one day we decided that we would meet at the University Mall, at the food court upstairs. The University Mall, y'all might remember, if you remember, the University Mall had a food court upstairs back then. And so now I live in Ybor City at the time, on Ybor Street, and didn't have no car. I'm 14, so I catch the bus, catch the Heartline, and y'all know the Heartline ain't never on time. It still ain't. 14 from 14 to 46, they still ain't on time. So, so I'm waiting on the bus, taking the bus to the University Mall. But I put on my freshest Casa Cresto, yo. I got my shirt is peach, my pants are brown. You know, I had like some designer socks, like the Oxford type socks that the white boys, the Jesuit wore, and some white boy loafers. I got it going on, and I had just got me some glasses with like a leopard print frame. And man, I'm talking about, I'm finna meet my girlfriend, and for the first time in a long time. Ooh wee, man, I don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe go to a water fountain and kiss. I don't know, but I was so excited, and so I get, walk to the bus stop, get on the bus, take this long ass journey to the mall on this Heartline bus, and then get to the mall, walk in the mall. And so there were escalators right next to the up escalator and the down escalator right there at the food court. So I get on the escalator, and I could see Jamelia at the top, hanging over the rail. And I'm going up the escalator, and can't wait till I get there so we can exchange sweet, loving expressions of affection. And I get to the top of the escalator, and this says, she said, "Ugh, you ugly." And I just got on the other escalator and came right on back down, crushed. About to shed a tear. And got on my, went back and got on the bus. Took that long ride back. And after that, y'all, I had to prove to myself that I could get me a girl or a woman when I want to. So after that, it was on. Woo! It was on. And I was 16 years old when my mama gave me a car. Let me listen. Can't nobody but me talk about my mama. Don't call me nothing about my mama. It's me talking to you about my mama. I'll tell you about my mama. My mama was really, kept me real sheltered, so to speak. Things like not to have sex before marriage. As a matter of fact, mama scared the hell out of me about sex. She came home one day with one of them sexual disease books and showed me the picture of all this terribly disfigured genitalia after it had been ill-affected by people who weren't taking care of themselves right. And I swore I would never put myself in that situation. Matter of fact, man, I told y'all about my grandmother. My grandmother one time told me about this movie she saw. My grandma, I told you, 80-something. So the movie had to be in black and white. They probably were doing the movie like this. But she told me about some movie she saw where I think it was a woman kissed a man, and then the man got on the bus, and something just kept happening to his lip throughout the movie. Man, you know how long it was before I kissed? Anyway, my mother kept me, sheltered and protected and whatnot. And so it's too funny to me. So like at 15 years old, I was only allowed to go to the park down the street. It was Cascading Park over there, Ybor City Eagles. Y'all know what time it is. I could go to the park down the street, and I could ride my 10-speed around the block. And on occasions, with permission, I could, ride the 10-speed on the other block. It's up until I was, I was born January 1st, if you don't know. So this is up until December 31st of 1990 when I'm 15. But, and the day I turned 16, my mother, who would not allow me to go past the block or the park, gave me keys to my first car. And I could go everywhere, but I ain't know nowhere to go. I hadn't been, I hadn't had to learn directions. I knew the bus route, Oh, I got to back up. Tell you how. Okay, I got to go to break in a minute, but I do have to tell you to talk about this bus. Sex, man. Woo. The first time I had it. Whew, I remember. I met her at a Jack and Jill party. Her name sounded like something like Nicole. And lived right over the bridge, right there on off the Columbus Street Bridge. Oh Lord, man, you talking about a brother? Sometimes I missed the bus, but I ain't miss a date. I was walking from Ybor City to West Tampa to do that sex again. And yes, but so that's how I started learning the city on the bus. Catching the bus. And that's how I learned my way around Tampa. I meet a young lady, she live over there. Okay, now I know how to get there. And then meet another young lady live over there. Now I know how to get there. And believe it or not, that's how I learned my way around town. And so now there's not too many places in Tampa I don't know how to get to. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So let me fast forward. Okay. All right. So yeah. So yeah. Back. Not fast forward, but get back to the thing, man. So after that crushing, I had to prove to myself that I was worthy, and so I started, exercising, and started looking a little, looking like something. Couldn't nobody call me ugly no more. You know what I mean? Well, I guess they could, but they, it was. They'd be outvoted, and so I would, but I still wasn't confident with myself, and so every night I'm up in the club trying to catch something, not something that was in that book that my mama showed me. I'm talking about trying to, catch, trying to catch a date, trying to get a kiss at the water fountain, and so, fortunately, I was able to prove to myself over and over again that sisters found me desirable enough to spend some time. And the question became, when was enough evidence enough? You know, somebody asked me that. Like, I was like, man, why you keep doing it like that? And I'm like, man, because I got to know that I can still do it. That I still got it. I know I had it yesterday, but I need to know that I still got it. And, a lot of y'all know that I did spoken word for a living. And, man, maybe you can imagine. I don't know if you can imagine what it's like to be on stage, and especially when you do poems about love and romance and relationships and sex, the kind of reception you get from women who appreciate that kind of presentation. And so oftentimes we had to well, I'll tell you when we get back what we had to do, but right now we're going to go to break. This is In Touch News, man. Call me up if y'all got some questions. I got some answers. If not, I got some stories too. The Life Malcolm Show right here, In Touch News.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
How to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
Most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
All right. Coming down to last part of the show, so we got to get to a word from the word as I promised. But I'm gonna say that I started doing things like, what did I say I was gonna tell y'all? What was it? Oh yeah. Huh? Oh yeah. So yeah, I done took a trip down memory lane and should have stayed on the path. So forgive me for if I didn't get right back to it. But what I will say is that I started, taking, doing my thing, man. Playing football, became a star athlete. Became a star athlete at the Ybor City Boys and Girls Club Championship athlete, winning trophies. Got up some size, 6 feet, 6 feet, 6'1". Guess I had some muscles, and back then I had that stuff in my head like Jodeci and them had that the curly stuff. Man, I had it going on, and I had a car. What? Yes, indeed. And so, man, it was easy to pull them, and so my god brother had me up in the club young. I ain't gonna call his name, because I ain't gonna implicate him. But his name sounds something like Marcus. And he had me up in the club, young. And so, man, it was these older women, right? And man, and this is where the sex part come in, right? And this is how I treat sex. Not to mention, I grew up in Florida, right, with Luke Skywalker, said he taught me almost everything I knew about sex until I got to like 20-something years old. He said, don't stop, get it. He said, I don't know if we can say that, even though it's not a cuss word, he said, you can say it on the radio because it's a song. Head, and more head. You know, that was a song on the radio. They don't bleep that out, so we should be able to say that here. That was Luke Skywalker. He said, hey, we want some, and we can't say that, I'm sure of that. But this is the environment I grew up in. JT Money put past this is my world right here I grew up in, right? And so I'm trying to, manage all this information with my newfound sexiness, and I got the car, and it's older women, and so I got this mindset, man. So I ran across this sister, man. She was at USF at the time. Probably about 3-4 years older than I'm 17. She, so about 20, 22, something like 21, 22. And, man, woo, she taught me a lot of things, helped me understand why, how important it is to be educated. And so, yeah. And so then, we were together when I went to college, like 2 years later, I had to be like closer to 18, 19, something like that, because I went to Atlanta at 19. So I don't think, me and her had been together that long. So, so about 18, I met her, and because I went to Atlanta in January of 1994. Matter of fact, January 4th, 1994, I went to Atlanta. And so we were, doing a little something at that time. And while I was away, her cat played. And she felt bad about it. And when I got home from college for a visit, she invited me to lunch, and she said, I've been cheating on you, and and she was so sad, and I was like, did you have a good time? Because at that point in my life, I had come to understand that thing gonna do what that thing gonna do. There ain't nothing you can do about it. The thing gonna do what the thing gonna do. And so, the best you can expect, I would imagine, from a mate is respectfulness. Because as far as I can tell, and that's why we finna get to the word, as far as I can tell, from the beginning of time, even in biblical times, that thing been doing what the thing gonna do. I mean, it's your thing, right? But look at it. Abraham had his wife, had a little something on the side. Now, he the father of, they call him Father Abraham. He was the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. Out of Abraham come Isaac and Jacob, and out of Jacob come the 12 tribes and Jesus and the rest of it. That's, he had a side piece. It's in the Bible. It's been happening from the beginning. Who else? We all know about David. David put a man on the killing floor so he can get that man's wife. You understand me? From the beginning of time. And David had a son who they say was the wisest man ever lived. Solomon. You heard of him? And Solomon had, they say, something like 100 wives and 1,000 concubines or something like that. So, in my view, the Bible and everything about history informs us that, let's take it back to the beginning. As a matter of fact, what's the first thing that God in the Bible say to people? He make the people, give them some food, show them what the food is, give them some animals and some trees, and say, be fruitful and multiply. That was the first command. Yeah, just start being fruitful. Yeah. It's that from the beginning. And so it wasn't no restrictions on it. It wasn't go get married, find just one. You know, this stuff that people pull together. And so as I look at the Bible, we're going to have to do a part 2 on this. Because this also changed my life, man. As I looked at the Bible, I wondered why so much of this sex stuff was going on while people in church was telling me I wasn't supposed to do it. I couldn't understand. More than that, telling me that God would think I was wrong, even put me in hell for doing it, you know. And my thought was, when I get hungry, like when I need to eat, I get a hungry signal, you know. When I need to drink, I get a thirsty signal. When it's time for my body to sleep, I get the sleepy signal. When I'm cold and I need to cover up, I get the cold signal. You get goosebumps and whatnot. And but they told me I was supposed to ignore this other signal that I kept getting, and I just didn't understand. Why am I supposed to ignore that signal? And that started my split with the reigning philosophy. That's REIGNING. The reigning philosophy of you're supposed to ignore the signal. Nah, the signal means something, you know. And so in the book, right? And so that's why I had to go back to the book and start wrestling with the book. And then I'm seeing all these people in the book getting down. Man, look, getting down. And then you learn some valuable stuff just from, if you look at the book in a practical way. I'll tell you, give you an example. Can't remember the scripture, but you can look it up. It's a guy named Onan. O-N-A-N. Onan. And if I recall, it might be in Numbers. If I can recall correctly, the story correctly. Now, it's been a long time. I say I used to be a Baptist preacher. It's been a long time since I was. But, so I remember some of the stories better than others. But Onan, if I recall correctly, like Onan's brother died, or some kind of way. Onan's brother was out the picture, and so God, imagine this now. God told Onan to go sleep with his brother's wife after his brother was, out the picture. I think Onan's brother died, and God told this the Bible. God told Onan, go get with your brother's wife and get her pregnant. And so Onan, guess what he did? He went up in there and, as the Bible says, went in unto her, and had sex with his brother's wife. But Onan didn't want child support. So he pulled out and let his seed spill to the ground. That's in the Bible. Go look it up. I promise you it is. And so my point is that these days, people are claiming accidental pregnancy, pregnancy without condom, or you need the condom. Look, the Bible tells you that the Onan method works. This my producer is laughing at me. All right. Yeah. So, you don't necessarily need Trojan. You can use Onan. And It's been working since Numbers, since the Old Testament. You understand? And so, man, there's so many things I could tell you. I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of lay the foundation. I really did hope that people would call in with questions and we could chop it up about it. But it's all right, you know. As you could tell, I ain't short on stories, and we ain't even cracked the bottle, yo. We are going to have this discussion again. We are going to talk about SEX again, but yeah, we're going to talk more about let me see, not so much about how I learned how to do it, but how my philosophy diverges with yours. Because I know you stuck on that Trojan, and you need to get on that Onan. Because that Onan be like, oh, man. But anyway, we better stop here. I think I feel a signal. And so I got to go and got to get off the air right now, and we'll talk in the future, man. I appreciate you tuning in right here on the Life Malcolm Show at In Touch News, www.intouchnews.com. Again, deep and profound appreciation for the In Touch News family, DJ CEO, Tampa Bay Tammy, and of course my super producer, DJ A&A. My name is Life Malcolm. I am the barrel of the gun. We'll see you next week.